Hey guys, it's Grade, and I want to talk about my Lich Minion build. This is the build I specifically use to get through campaign. So I'm going to go through some of the specters, some of the other builds out there that you could play. There's quite a bit of flexibility, even though I think there's really only 2 viable damage playstyles that you can actually use with the minions. So this is the one that I have. Let's go over my gear and my jewels. So I've made some upgrades as far as my gear, right? Because I'm already in endgame. We breeze through. These are my stats. That's not really important. The things that I used to pass through the campaign was I got a plus minion scepter, right? I use trade sight. If you're on trade, I can't reinforce more that you should get plus minion and plus spirit on your scepter. This spirit scepter used to be, I slammed it with exalts and I got an extra spirit modifier on it. It was 35. Now that T1 turns it into 49. So that's pretty tight. I bought this off a trade, like an X or so, 1X or so, plus minion skills on the head. And then this I got as a drop, I believe. Right, so as much spirit as you can get is what I'm getting at. Spirit and minion levels as that you can afford, obviously. And then this I got for 8C. You don't have to have this. I got this. It'll make your minion leveling a lot better, right? I'm trying to remember everything that I did as I was going through it. I went through the campaign using minions, right? Essence Drain and Contagion to kind of supplement damage. But most of the damage, if not all of it, came from gas arrows. And detonating gas arrows is how I played the whole time. And this is pre-patch nerf. That patch that went through that increased minion damage, I was already halfway through Act 3 by the time that patch came out. So when that patch came out, it helped out a lot. So I don't even, it must be a lot easier to go through the campaign now. I know people are having a hard time. Yeah, people are having, I kind of enjoyed how hard it was, but I could see it was not, that wasn't a sustainable way for this thing to go. Anyway, I want to show you just how much damage that patch actually gave, right? So these are my skeletal snipers. This is what I've been using. These are my sockets, a scatter shot, a bidding, and a commandment, right? But the important thing is my gas arrow. If we can pull it up, and the explosion. Average damage per use for 1 explosion is 5k. Before that patch yesterday, it was 3k. So yeah, I was doing 9k gas arrows pre-patch, right? Now with that damage buff, now we're doing 15k unbuffed because it's 3 explosions with scatter shot. So yeah, we're eating really well with that patch. I mean, I was making it through without it using gas arrow, but there's really only, I think, 1 damage dealing way you can play early game, which is gas arrow. So that's the gear, right? This is the gear. As much min as you can get on your scepter and your helmet, spirit on your headpiece. I had whatever rings that I had. I'll upload the other videos of my gear from the other League Start videos. It'll be in the comments. So all this stuff is now, it's just so I can push higher map levels and all this stuff. I got rid of my wand. We're using a focus now for shield and resistances. All right, so nothing super special about my gear. Now let's go into the skills and how I have it built out. I'm using storm mages. When I played Act 1, all snipers. Gas arrow, contagion, essence drain, and blowing it up with firewall. You know, just the generic way that I've been playing through the campaign for Act 1. Act 2, it gets rough because they'll immediately kill your minions. I don't know if that's still the case, but if that's the case, you're gonna want a spectre. Get a spectre who can act as your frontline damage tank, soaking up attention type of character. Whoever frontliner do you want to use? I use the vulture. The vulture's great. I can't say good enough things about the vulture. Jumping AoE, good gap closing. He is expensive. He's at 120, but you can get some other frontliners. Like there's a 60 spirit Faradin heavy guards. Those guys are great. Just so that way, if you want to continue using gas arrow, you have somebody to peel and get the attention. So that way you can build up gas arrows and then you can do your damage. And then once you move on, your next order of business is you can switch and you can get in Act 3, you can get Vaal Guards. And the Vaal Guards are great too. These guys are very different from the undead Vaal Guard. Don't get the undead ones that are in Joaquin's Sanctum. You have to get the Vaal Guards that are in Exile. And I mean, if you get them in normal mode, you have to get them before you go into cruel difficulty. Because once you go into cruel, you can't take the waypoint back to the past to go to Exile anymore. So if you miss them, like I did, I missed them, and then I didn't get them until cruel Act 3. So I played snipers, gas arrow explosions, with my vulture as a tank all the way until I got storm mages. Once you get storm mages, Man, Storm Mages got buffed. Storm Mages are great because their damage is high and they chain to 3 additional targets. So they work really well as clear. So that's what I have. I was running Storm Mages and I was starting to cook. I was really cooking with Gas Arrow and then Storm Mages as my clear. I only have enough Sniper Minions so that way I can have infinite Gas Arrows. But we'll talk about it. So this is what I have for my Storm Mages. I have Conduction here. This is a level 1. Muster is a level 2, so whenever you can get that on there. And then Overcharge. Overcharge, I think it's a level 3, so whenever you can put this on. But the whole point of the Storm Mages is they clear weaker monsters and packs and stuff and white mobs, but they apply shock. This amount of shock, that 20% shock, does wonders when combined with Gas Arrow. So the Gas Arrow is chunking a lot with the extra multiplier from the shock, as well as your Unholy Might. So that's a really huge multiplier with shock. So that's why I have Conduction, or that's why I have Overcharge, so that way the shock magnitude is at 30% instead of 20. And then I have Contagion here. This is a remnant of using Chaos to supplement my damage with the snipers. When I play with snipers, I would basically Gas Arrow and Contagion and Essence Drain. I focus heavily on using Gas Arrow and detonating it with Firewall. But once all the snipers and stuff were dead, I would be forced to just use Contagions, Essence Drain, and what's that effigy thing? Dark Effigy. But now I don't have room for those spells because I've upgraded now. But yeah, once you get your Storm Mages, you'll be having these guys, a majority of them, and just enough snipers, so that way you can rain down your Gas Arrows. We'll talk about the Vaal Guards specifically later, when you have pure Vaal Guards. And then the next thing you're going to want is your Frontliner. So I use the Vile Vulture. I'm a big fan of this guy because he's really proactive. He jumps in. Even when you're retreating and you're running away from a bad situation, he'll switch targets to where you are and jump in. So it's really nice. He's really good, but he's just expensive. So if you do decide to get a Vulture, make sure you keep that in mind. The cost of this guy is 120 Spirit. I have 15% quality on him, so that way his reservation goes down to 100 or something. I think 101 is his reservation cost. I even had Enormity on him at one point because it was fun how when he was just this big force to like reckon with. But what I have on him, well, let's talk about the snipers because I forgot to go over these jewels. I have Scattershot on the snipers, Bidding, and Commandment. Scattershot and Magnified Effect in the early levels because you want to be able to cover with as much gas and shotgun your explosive as much as possible. Once you get levels and you're just using them for Gas Arrow, you're going to want to use Bidding because that's all they are. That's all their DPS is just Gas Arrows and explosions. And Commandment, because of Commandment, they do 0 basic attack damage. No basic attack. On the flip side, you only need 3 of them in order to have infinite Gas Arrows. So what's their reservation right now? I think for a reservation of 26 times 3, 60, 72 Spirit, you get infinite access to Gas Arrow. So that's kind of the trade-off for snipers. And then the last thing that I've got on, well, for minion wise, I have a Skeletal Cleric, just one of these guys. Before, you used to have 2 Skeletal Clerics because they would stay right next to each other and they could heal each other. But with the change to Cleric AI, these guys are off way in the back. They're somewhere in the nosebleeds. They're way back there. They're so far back that, you know, they'll get killed because you're moving too fast and they'll aggro something in the back corner and they're all alone. But in a way, it's kind of good because they're out of harm's way and they're just constantly healing from like way back there. Way downtown. Tom Brady, they're just back there healing. So I don't know if I like it. I kind of like it. It's pretty cool. I think it's a good change. It's got good uses and stuff. And then for an aura, I have Withering Presence. This guy, you want this to be as high as level as possible. I've got Chaos Mastery in here because I wasn't really sure what to put in. I gotta wait and see what else is good. And then Persistence, so more duration. Which is good because more duration, more stacks. Because the way Withering Presence work is the stacks have their own individual timers and stuff. So let me see if I take off Persistence, what's the duration aura? Wither duration 6 seconds. I don't know if it changes that. It probably does. But with this, when you first use it, your stacks will only be 20 to 25. Now with level 17 and this persistence that's in here, I see it as high as 30, 35. It's been hitting 40, but that's because I have 10% chance to wither with through the passive skill tree. But yeah, the way this works is this amplifies your Unholy Might, right? 5% increased chaos damage. can bleed up to 50 stacks, so 50% increased chaos damage. So your unholy might, you know, with full stacks goes up to 45% increased damage, or extra chaos damage, up to 45% extra chaos damage, and then that in combination with the shock, right? 30% multiplier on top of that. So it's a lot. One thing I forgot to cover with the Vaal Guard, I do have one of these in my setup. What I have on him is just strip away and fire exposure. Because the Vaal Guard does a natural 10% fire exposure, with these two, it goes up to, I think it was 27% fire exposure. I can't remember exactly. We'll do a round and we'll see. But this is how I have it built out. I'll link it and I'll update the planner, so I'll have all this stuff. If you see here, I have this Ravenous Homunculus. This guy is in maps. It's part of the corrupted maps. The Ravenous Homunculus is exactly like a simulacrum mob. Those guys that jump out of nowhere. So he looks exactly like one of those guys. And then he has a gap closer. I decided to get two of these, this spectre, because they seem kind of cool. And their spirit cost is 70. With the reservation and everything is 62. It's about half the cost of Vaal Vulture. I go interchangeably between these two because the Vaal Vulture is glitched right now, and then you have to resummon him. It's the worst part about the Vulture. The Vulture is great, but the worst part about him is he'll just desummon himself, and then you have to mess with resummoning him. So that's the really big downside about the Vulture. At least with this playstyle of how I like to use a tank. Let's look at it. I've got 4 Storm Mages, 1 Vaal Guard, 3 Snipers, so that way I have gas arrows, and then I have the 1 tank, and 2 Clerics back here. I wish I had enough extra spirit for something else, but we'll have to figure that out. So instead I have 2 Clerics for now. And I also forgot, no, I got Muster in here. Yeah, Muster is on the Storm Mage, by the way. Because the Storm Mage is in charge of clearing mobs, I put Muster on him. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minions, 5 times 7. He has 35 increased damage multiplier for the Storm Mage. So it's pretty good. Pretty good damage for the Storm Mage. So this is how it plays, essentially. This is how I've been playing throughout the entire campaign, using gas arrows. You know, detonating. It's really good single target damage. And the clear is really nice. The one thing I like about it is there's not really a delay. So if I wanted to start, you know, putting gas arrows and damage into an area, I can start just preemptively attacking that area. See, and then I kind of just clear. I have Contagion just to have it. And where we are? We are in a T level 67 map. I'm a little over leveled because I'm trying to do all this all of the corrupted nexuses in order to get my points. It's still kind of new to the mechanics. Well, let's try to find a rare. So this is how the gameplay plays. Here you go. 24% fire exposure. That's what the Vaal Guard does. So because of the fire exposure, we get a really big nuke. Let's see if we can find a rare. Replenishment Shrine. I have some plans too. I'm thinking about using my 3rd Ascendancy to get the AoE explosions. And there's a minion called a Ribrattler who does automatic curses. So if you have a Ribrattler who's 40 spirit, you can have automatic curses, which will be nice because then it'll help speed up your clear. And then which is more chaos damage. Having all the different buffs with the withering, the shock chance, it's really good damage. Let's see if we can find a rare. Can't find a rare. So I kind of enjoy using gas arrow. It's a more active playstyle compared to the Vaal Guards. The Vaal Guards is very similar to playing arsonists. So if you're the kind of person who really enjoys arsonists, the Vaal Guards are right up your alley. And both they're they're pretty comparable in terms of their DPS. I can see the Vaal Guards being better if you had a shit ton of them. If you started getting like 12, maybe even 9 Vaal Guards, they would be a menace. But I still recommend getting like a gap closer and a tank because it's actually really beneficial. It helps with the mental stack because in other maps when there's a lot of mods, there's a lot of monsters, and especially in corrupted maps, you have a new on death mechanic. There's an on death mechanic where it spawns mobs, so you could be going up towards getting your gear, and then you're all of a sudden you're completely body blocked and surrounded by mobs. So it's nice to have the vulture in there, just because he can mix it up. And he can get in there and really be pretty tanky. And he has okay damage. He has pretty decent damage. Because like I don't know if you guys noticed, if you have only backline minions and stuff like skeletons or something like that, oftentimes you'll see the mobs just completely walk right by you and go straight for your backline. They'll go straight in for the backline and try to kill all your DD minions. See how a few of them just ran by me? But I feel like because there's the vulture in there, or you have a couple frontliner minions, they kind of hold everything down. Here you go. Here's a rare. Let's see if we can see if he gets a shock on him. See how much damage? And a lot of the corrupted maps, you'll end up fighting 2 rares at the same time. Like they're right next to each other. And this is kind of how I do it. I prefer to use the gas arrow. Let's see if I can find another one. And maps can get pretty stacked. But so far, I haven't had any issues going through campaign. I've died from bosses using gas arrow. You know, usually from like some type of one-shot mechanic. But there hasn't been an issue where I've been like just really stuck. Oh, this map only has 1 more rare. Hold on. Let's go switch. So just, you can kind of see. Like you can go full. We'll have one. See, I've got 8 of these guys. So maybe say 2. They're really tanky too. If you really wanted to use Vaal Guards, they're really good. If you really like arsonists, if that's your playstyle, you know, there's less micromanaging and less mental stack. I can't recommend them enough. They're really good. The only downside is they have a little bit of a delay, but it's totally fine. They have like a slight delay in setting their stuff up, and also visual clarity is kind of rough. Really rough with the visual clarity. They're pretty good. Now you usually use Vaal Guards with like what do you call them? I forget, SRS or something. So you're casting SRS spells. See, so pretty good. That's how we just dealt with a rare just now. And it's about the same time it took me to kill the rare with gas arrow. Right? It was pretty much really similar. So the 2 styles are really comparable. You could even, what I would do too is if you get Vaal Guards and you have all this, you should experiment. You should really experiment with like a couple frontliners, you know, some gas arrow. You have 4 of these guys to clear. Maybe you only want 1. Maybe you only want 1, right? What if you just want 1 gas arrow person to do gas arrows? Maybe just even have 1 frontliner and then 5. So that way you still have gas arrows for nukes. Let's see if we could find somebody. You'll still have gas arrows to nuke down rare mobs, but your clear is better because you have the Vaal Guards with the explosions. The other thing with the Vaal Guards too is because it's burning ground, it'll auto detonate your gas arrows for you. So there's a lot of flexibility that you can do with these different minions. In a way, there's a lot of two ways to do DPS. And here's that frontliner that I'm talking about. This Homunculus. The one thing that's good about the Homunculus, if you watch him, he does a punching combo and he pushes mobs back. He jumps in. Here, if you can see him. You can see this guy right here. He's doing like a 5-piece combo. This Homunculus guy. And he's actually pretty tanky. He'll jump in. He has a leap gap closer that doesn't have a cooldown. And then once he starts combo punching, he actually pushes monsters back. So he's kind of cool. But yeah, so those are the different builds. So this is still kind of like a work in progress. We're still in early maps. I'll be updating, you know, trying to push how far we can get with the minions and stuff. And it's pretty fun. Ever since that patch, we got a lot of minion power. I kind of want to show off the Homunculus. Let's go into another map. All right, let's say we've got 2 of them. Just so we can be really like, play it safe. These guys, they jump in and then they body block. See how 2 of those guys body block? And because there's 2 of them, it is kind of nice. And then your guys just clear it up. They just clear everything up. See, and it's perfectly fine. I'm not even pressing any buttons. I'm just walking. So if this playstyle appeals to you, this is what you want to do. You want to get Vaal Guards and you want to get him in Exile. The only time is now that we've got a rare, that's when you're gonna want it a little more damage. But here's that rare. You can see that rare. I mean, you're fine. He'll get taken down eventually. What you could even do is, you know, have a couple skeletons so you can have your pain offering up. Pain offering is super helpful. It really boosts their attack speed. Here's another one. Let them go in. Let them do their thing. So this is for all the guys who like arsonists. It's a really comfortable, really chill playstyle. But you just got to get these guys. And then if you want a playstyle that's more nuke based, where you're just nuking stuff, you can do this, something like this. There's my bird. You know, this is kind of how I like to play. Make sure I have scatter shot right here. I think that's good enough. Right, so it's not necessarily one's, you know, one is like you have to play this way. You have choices. The only thing you don't have a choice right now is your backline. I guess you have choices, but not really, right? The one choice is if you want to use a backline of specters, right now the only thing that we have that we know about is the Vaal Guard. I've heard some other people say that there's a Rasp and Trial of Sekma. There's some other good ones. There's an Auroch Shaman who does a pool of blood, pool of poison. I have him, you know. But for right now, this is how I'm leveling. I'm using Poison Arrow. I really like using the command ability, and I like the intuitiveness of when I can kind of like really dish out the damage. And the other advantage with this setup is if you're doing strong boxes or greater essences that you've just like slammed with exalts and you have it beefed up, man, the way to kill these essences is you just pre-slime the essence with as many gas arrows, and then as soon as you open the gas arrow, open up the essence, you just burn it all, and it basically kills everything. You can kind of do the same thing with like a lockbox to an extent. You know? Then I just have these guys. There's a rare right there. You see how he gets just gets chunked down? So your single target damage is really good with a nuke. Right, with this build. This is kind of how I tend to like to do it. You got me and the vulture up front. And then if I wanted to, if I really wanted to, you could take out these guys and we could add in more Vaal Guards. Right? So I still have this. I have more AoE clear. I still have the ability to cast 30% shocks, and then I still have unlimited gas arrows, and I still have a front line. So yeah. So there's quite a bit of flexibility with this. See, if this appeals to you, you could even do a mixture where it's Vaal Guards, and then you can put magnified effect on them so that way they have a bigger burst area. The nice thing is they auto detonate, and because they have that little bit of a delay, it allows the gas to kind of permeate a little bit before it explodes and detonates. So those are basically the two playstyles I've been going back and forth. The one thing I'm considering right now is when I get my third ascendancy, I think I'm going to use the Ribrattler. The Ribrattler is a spectre that you get in Freythorn. And this spectre's whole deal is just to walk around and be an AoE curse bot. We'll go into it. First, let's go find another rare. Let's go through this, find a rare real quick. Maybe we'll fast forward through all of this stuff. Here's a checkpoint. There should be a rare somewhere. Boss? Meteoric Shrine? So yeah, right? I have the vulture in the front line. That vulture is just being a menace. And then I'm just mashing, you know, I'm using my right stick to kind of aim where I want gas arrows to be. And it's pretty fun. There's a lot of mayhem. There's a lot of mayhem going on. It's very enjoyable. All right, here's a rare. Okay. And I also have Voltaic Mark. Do I have it in here? Yeah, I have a level 7 Voltaic Mark. So this turns my shock from 30% to 39. If you put full quality on this, for this on Voltaic Mark, if you had full quality on it, it'll turn your shock to 45. So just imagine that 45% on top of your unholy might with the fire exposure and then the gas arrows landing or some other ability, you know. It's really good way of scaling damage. Here, let's... Where is he? Here he is. He's dead. Wait. I didn't even see what happened to him. We gotta kill someone else. Yeah, it's just mayhem. There's a lot of mayhem. A lot of mayhem going on. It's pretty enjoyable. And the other thing too, the Lich is really nice in a party. If there's a Lich, if you're not playing a Lich and you party up with a Lich, the Unholy Might buff goes on you. So you get whatever 30% extra chaos damage, and you know, there's shocks going around. So it's a real big benefit to the party. Kills, and there's also all these minions to tank for you. Because I have these guys, these guards, the Vaal Guards, they're actually pretty tanky. So even though they're not like the Vulture going in there and mixing it up, they provide a lot of cover for your other party members or whoever. So it's really fun. It's a good time. The season's not totally ruined. Okay. Let's go find the boss. We'll use the gas setup with 3 guards. Lord of the Pit. I think my skeletons just got killed. I guess that's the one downside with the skeleton way, is if they get killed. But here you go, with the shock and everything. See, he just gets chunked down. These bosses just get chunked. And then the Unholy Might, you do kind of want to stay in a little bit of an area to where your Storm Mages are, because the Unholy Might is applying on them as well, and you don't want to get out of range. Okay, so just to review my roadmap, right? When I played this game in the beginning of the launch, in my roadmap, in Act 1, I used gas arrows and Essence Drain and Contagion with Firewall to detonate gas. Act 2, that's where I picked up... Act 2 was rough until I got a Spectre to... Actually, Act 2, I didn't use a Spectre at all. I still attempted to use gas arrow and started to work around it and trying to do it that way, and it was miserable. Act 2 took me 4 hours. Act 1 took me 2 hours. Act 2 took me 4 hours and some change, because it was like I had to constantly kite. My minions were constantly dying. In the beginning of Act 3, that's when I was like, you know what? I need a frontline specter. That's when I went back to Act 2, and I was either going to get the Vaal Guard or the Vulture. I got the Vulture, and then Act 3, we finished that in like 3 hours. It was good. Altogether, first act on normal was around 11 hours. 10 to 11 hours. You know, not bad, pretty respectable. I think that it wasn't too bad, especially learning all that new stuff. And then I can't remember where I got the Storm Mages. But once we put in the Storm Mages, our clear was so good. It got really good. And I also got the Enfolding Dawn. Without the Enfolding Dawn, you can do something like this. This is the chess piece that I had. So if you look at how much spirit we had with the Enfolding Dawn, right? I also have some quality on some stuff, so obviously it's not going to be 1-to-1. I didn't have the Vaal Guard. All I had was, I made sure to have 3 snipers because I wanted to always be raining down gas arrows, and then I just filled in with as many snipers as I could. So with as many Storm Mages as I could. So with this setup, 4 Storm Mages, that's plenty. And then snipers, a tank, Withering Presence, and a cleric. I think I didn't even have a cleric until later. Well, anyway, this is kind of what I had for the majority of the campaign. And then this is what I was doing for the campaign. This, same thing. Storm Mages would go to town, kill all the ads, and it was very comfortable. Very, very comfortable playing that way. You don't have to play that way if you get the Vaal Guards in Act 3. Get them in Act 3, and then you could run this exactly like you did with arsonists, and it's just as fine. But when I did Act 2 Cruel, I swear we went through Act 2 Cruel really fast. We got the Unfolding Dawn, and then I got the Storm Mages, and I think I cleared it in like maybe like 2 hours tops, something like that. It felt really fast. I was really surprised. I was like, wow, this is really easy. And then we got into the middle of Act 3. They did the patch, right? They buffed minion damage, and then our damage just went through the roof. We just cleared the rest of Act 3. So I've been using the same DPS amount all the way up to level 72 to clear maps. You level really fast in maps. You have to basically do this. You have to like clear like this entire corrupted area and stuff and get your points. It's pretty fun. I think it's all right. But then it is weird. Just like this, like, I don't know, this disconnect of difficulty. The changes that they added, I don't know if they're good for the game long term because it's pushing away casual players. It's making the game really hard for casual players. Like, I beat the campaign pretty decently, but still, I was still around like 20 hours, I think. And then some of the boss fights, if you watch some of the replays, they were long fights. So with the shape of the game now, I don't think it's good, only because we obviously like this game. We want this game to thrive, and it's pushing away new players. It's pushing away new players because it's too crazy, and it's pissing off veteran players because it's a little too, I don't know what you want to call it. Insert special word here. But yeah, so that's the build. Those are your options. Hopefully we find more cool specters and stuff like that. This is still like an early build. There's one more thing. We got to show off the Ribrattler. Let me show you what this guy looks like. So these are Ribrattlers. So if you see these guys, they're little walking piles of wood, and it has a curse aura. The curse aura on them is on a timer, and it just randomly shifts between 3 auras. But if you look at the Ribrattler, see, they do Despair, Temporal Chains, and Enfeeble, and they like cycle and change. They're kind of on Despair. That one just turned into Enfeeble. And this guy is 36 spirit with full quality, maybe like 30 spirit on him. And having one of these guys is good for your muster, right? 7% for muster. There's also Terracotta Warrior. Terracotta Warrior is only 10 spirit. That's also another 7% for your muster. That's really good. With the Ribrattler, with this point in the Ascendancy, Rupture the Soul, that means you don't have to actually manually curse. You can just have a Ribrattler in your team, and then you'll get free Rupture the Soul. And when you get into upper level maps, there's a lot of mobs. It'll make a difference having this because there's a lot of mobs. Yeah, so I can't wait. Once I get my 3rd Ascendancy, I'm gonna try it out, see if I can use this. As far as this, I don't know if I want to take this. I mean, maybe we'll see. See if I could work in Eternal Life. I kind of like being able to clear Blackened Heart, but I don't have enough mana. And a Phylactery would be nice. I do have a nice little gem that dropped. This one, triple minion. So kind of cool, right? 30% extra recharge rate would be nice. One more last thing, the passive tree. Before I forget, almost forgot. So this is how I have it set up now. I'm still not finalized. This is just kind of what I have, right? I have 1 jewel. So this is what we got, what I'm working with. Take this overview. I'm going to talk about how I went about it. So initially when I started, I went this way, came up here, and I got these nodes, Presence of Effect and some Spirit, right? And then I got this minion wheel. And the whole idea was to get our Ascendancy, Unholy Might, and to increase the presence area. After that, what I wanted to do, once I got this little section, I wanted to get this Minion Accuracy, Fear of Death. But the way I did that was I didn't path this way, up and 1 by 1. You can do that. What I did was I got like shield, I got points, whatever. And then once I got enough, I reallocated and then went straight to minion accuracy. You could just go here. If you had this section, immediately go here, get life, and then minion accuracy. The things you really want are more area of effect. You want to get your presence of area, you want to get this, some elemental resist, and then your area of effect right here. And increase cooldown, so your gas arrows are just, you know, you have more gas arrows essentially. And then you want to get accuracy, because there is an accuracy issue and you want consistent damage with hitting. After that, I made a beeline straight up here for Lord of Horrors. After I got Lord of Horrors, I went and got Right Hand of Darkness. And then I went and got all down here and got all of these. You don't have to get all of these in that specific order. If you need Energy Shield, you could branch off and get Energy Shield right here. Or you could even get Energy Shield right here. But eventually, once you get all these damage nodes, this one and this one, I even had down here for a second, but I reallocated those. But yeah, once you have those, you're going to want some Energy Shield and survivability. I recommend you could either go this way, right? Go down here, and then you can get these for more damage if you want. And then you can get these Energy Shields. Where you're really going to start to want minion Vial Mending, right? When you're going to really start to want Vial Mending is kind of when you're going towards maps. Usually I would get Vial Mending right away, but because we have the tanking minion, a frontliner, he kind of takes all the hate, so I just go wait for the cleric. The big things are you want survivability for your minions though. That's why I get elemental resist right here. I get elemental resist right here, Silent Guardian. I got lucky with this jewel, right? 10% elemental resist. And the next thing I want is these. I want max elemental resist. I may even consider taking Left Hand of Darkness, but I don't know if I want to spend 4 whole points. Or I could take this one, Mana Recoup, because you want him to stay alive. You want your frontliner to stay alive as long as possible, because if he's alive and he's tanking through everything, then your damage dealing minions can do their thing, or you can be using your gas arrow. It's just I'm not there yet. I don't know if we can get to the same power level we got in the previous season with how strong we were with just basic attacks. Who knows? Remains to be witnessed. And then if you need more Energy Shield, you can get these nodes right here. I got these Energy Shield nodes just recently. These guys and these guys. You can get this one too if you want. Like I had these nodes down here, but I started removing minion damage just because our DPS was fine. Our DPS was fine, and I didn't need these, so I opted to get Energy Shield and more minion survivability. But yeah, this is just kind of work in progress, but this is kind of how I have it. I like my Energy Shield to be pretty decent, 1700, have some life, so we can take some hits. There's a lot of information in this video. It's pretty long. I probably skipped a lot of stuff. If you got any questions, you know, put it down in the comments, leave a question. come by on stream, ask me something. I'm always down to help. I'm not gonna like snob you or whatever. You know, thanks for all the support. I really appreciate you guys. I can't say it enough. I appreciate all the support. You know, thank you guys for liking the video, subscribing, all that kind of stuff, stopping by the stream, asking questions, you know, sharing information. It's pretty fun. I'm glad it's taken off. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
This is not over. Not yet.
Finally come for me. This ends now.
There you go. Shock. Dude.
You will burn.
Wither stack. Where's my bird?
Progress comes with a heavy price.
Oh, is he on phase 2? He's like not taking any damage.
Future.
Bro, go to phase 2 already. This guy's forcing me to fight him.
I can't give up.
There you go.
I must save my people.
You know why we're here. It happened. It cannot
Come on, put on shock. And I'm not even using whatchamacallit would probably be really good. What's it called? Pain offering? That's what I did the first time to kind of kill this guy.
Stand in my way. Self-destruction. This is not over yet. One death
Okay,
is
get rid of him.
nothing for the greater good. How foolish.
I want to see how easy it is. Or see how it is with Vaal Guards.
Stand a chance.
Build coming along. Yo, Destroyer, what's up, dude? I'm doing a test right now. I'm using pure Vaal Guards. I've been using a mix. I use the arrow thing, gas arrow. This is doing pretty good. Look how much damage it's getting, dude. With the shock in there, 40% stacks of withering, of wither, dude. So it looks like there's only 2 ways to play.
Let's see how you handle this.
This is the easier way. This way. Oh shit! Don't die! Don't die! Don't die! Turns. Did you notice that in the beginning there were way more gold drops? I don't know. I think so. Maybe. I didn't really see. And then if I had whatchamacallit, SRS, it would be even faster.
Save my people.
You know why we're here. It happened. It cannot be stopped.
No, I will succeed.
Now these guys are really good.
I've been preparing for you for years.
See, not bad. It's pretty much the same speed as nuking with gas arrows, but it's easier because you don't have to worry about. You can just run around and just be over here. But you want to be close so that way they get your unholy might buff.
Reverse the polarity. Inconceivable.
Come on. Oh shit, I almost died.
You will pay for this.
Do I go inside? I go inside, huh?
Let's see you survive this.
Don't get shot by that laser.
Nothing will stand in my way. You leave me no choice. This is not over yet.
Don't get one-shotted by this. Damn, the Vaal Guards didn't even die.